In a write-up for the Free Press, Yoav Gallant, the former Israeli defense minister, argues that the only way to defeat Iran is for American soldiers to seize Karg Island. And if you don't know Karg Island, it's located in the Persian Gulf. So it's one of the two gulfs that is connected by the Strait of Hormuz. So Yoav Gallant is an Israeli politician and a former military officer who served as the Minister of Defense between 2022 and 2024. He also, by the way, fun fact, has been accused of war crimes and crimes against humanity by the International Criminal Court. Cenk, what are your thoughts on taking any kind of advice from this guy?
Yeah, I think we've gotten plenty of advice from the Israelis. And here they're gonna take it over the top and basically tell us, yeah, it's okay if you guys die for our wars. So give them the facts, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So the piece that he wrote is called Yoav Gallant, How to Finish the Job in Iran. So he's figured it out. Gallant claims that the only way Iran can be stopped is if the United States sends its soldiers to Karg Island. It is the only option. That's what he says. There's no other way to end any of this. So Yoav writes, if you bomb Karg's oil infrastructure, you destroy an asset that would take years to rebuild and eliminate a potential source of leverage. But if you seize the island, you control it. Iran cannot export a single barrel without your permission. You're able to tell Tehran, open the strait and we discuss terms, keep it closed and your oil revenue drops to zero. And the US can't bomb the island. He claims that the island needs to be seized. And what he says about that is how, though, would this operation work in practice? An amphibious assault on a defended shore is one of the most demanding operations in modern warfare. Militaries study landings like Normandy for a reason. They require precise coordination across sea, air, and land domains. And they leave the first waves of troops exposed to combat power. If combat power does not quickly build ashore, success depends on integrating helicopters and fixed-wing aircraft, landing craft, ground forces intelligence, and constant protection against missiles and drone attacks. Comparing any of this to Normandy is very bizarre. It seems a little delusional. But Yoav Gallant also, by the way, knows that US soldiers will die and he's not bothered by it. He writes, and yes, there are risks. Any operation to seize Karg would require thousands of troops, sustained air and naval support, and detailed intelligence, and it would carry a real and expected cost in human life. Iran would also target every reachable energy facility across the Gulf, a campaign already underway. Yeah, they're already doing these things. And this is what, this is his big plan to end the war quickly, I guess, not easily, it doesn't sound like. Cenk, what are your thoughts on this before I give mine?
Yeah, so he says, oh yeah, there's gonna be a cost in human life. Good news for him, it's American lives, not Israeli lives. So, hey, dogs of Israel, America, send your kids to die for us. Well, I mean, you were the defense minister of Israel. You seem like you know what you're talking about on how to do this type of amphibious assault. I got good news back at you. Why don't you go do it with your ground troops and with your military? We don't even want this war. So why do our kids have to die for Israel? That's a question that is going to ring through America if we use ground troops, and we now almost certainly will use ground troops. And you see here, Israel is demanding ground troops. Now the entire country, America, is saying don't put in ground troops. Not only are the left saying that, all the independents are saying that, and even a portion of MAGA still lives in la la land and thinks, oh no, Donald Trump's a genius. He's gonna end this war in 4 weeks and there's gonna be no downsides or no costs. And they're like, oh, you crazy liberals, you think there's gonna be ground troops. There's not gonna be any ground troops. Now, a huge portion of them, the minute the ground troops land, will go, of course, there are ground troops. We always meant ground troops. But a big chunk of them, and certainly enough to swing elections, the elections are already swung. We already got the independents that voted for Trump. They're already off this ship, right? But all of these folks now, which is going to be about 2/3 of the country, are going to be asking, why are we sending our kids to die because Israel ordered us to? And they say, oh, well, this will help you too. How? Wait. That goes to the second part of his editorial that Yaz just told you about. He says, well, yes, if we do this, Iran will bomb the oil facilities of our Gulf partners. Wait, you know what that means? Oil already hit $110 per barrel. Now, before the war started, all of Israel First, which is almost all of our politicians and almost all of our mainstream media, said, oh, $100 per barrel. Outrageous, that's not gonna happen. This is gonna be easy. Now, all of a sudden, the Israeli defense minister goes, no, not easy. You're gonna need a lot of Americans to die. Shut up and die for us. Not only that, $100, so you're already at 110. And if they do this, it'll hit 150. And at 150, pretty much every economic analyst says global economic meltdown. Not just for America, but for the whole world. But Israel has ordered the world to have a global economic meltdown led by the catastrophe that'll happen in America. Plus, America has to throw in dead American kids that we send into their meat grinder for them. But hey, Yoav Gallant, the mighty former Israeli defense minister, has ordered us. So now, guys, it is before any of this has happened. So I'm going to make a prediction for you, and I've made this prediction before, and you'll see that it comes true. Because if I'm wrong, then we don't follow Israel's orders, and Donald Trump will go, no, I don't want oil at $150. We'll lose the House, the Senate. It's completely contrary to everything I promised. No, I'm not gonna put in ground troops. I said a million times that I wasn't gonna do wars, let alone put in ground troops. And then I'll come back and say, oh, I'm sorry. It turns out we're not controlled by Israel. It turns out, no, the American president can do what is in the interest of America. But as you'll see, that's not going to happen. And we will do as Israel has ordered us to do. And then these catastrophes will unfold. By the way, last part of it, Yaz, is that then they'll turn around and go, well, I mean, we warned you that oil was gonna go through the roof. We warned you that you were gonna lose the ground troops, and you did it anyway. So it's your fault, not Israel's fault. Wow. That is also coming.
The audacity, yeah, it's not very comforting that this is coming from an Israeli because, yeah, we know that Trump at this point is doing whatever it is that Israel wants him to do. And we know that because there is no other justification that he has been able to give us that makes more sense than that one, okay? We know that there's gonna be ground troops. We know that members of the military have already been told that they're likely going to be sent to Iran. And just comparing any part of this particular war to Normandy and World War II is entirely delusional. Like none of this is the same. And I'm trying not to say a bad word, but it disparages the legacy of the people who were involved in Normandy on D-Day. Like U.S. involvement in World War II was arguably justified. Obviously, the Allies had to do something. Like none of this is the same thing, okay? And yeah, the fact that he has this big strategic plan, he said lives will be lost, but it's American lives because the way Israel sees it, the United States, this military is their military. And why wouldn't they believe that if every time they need money for their military, if anytime they need people or weapons to lead their military campaigns, we send all those things over there and there's no hesitation, right? And they know that no matter what happens, no matter how public opinion sways, our Congress, members of our Congress are going to continue to just support Israel against the will of the people and give them all of our money. So it's just not very comforting at all.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.